Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. Family found out my broken marriage from my Instagram and my partner angry with me. Married 2.5 years. I, 31M, just got confirmation that my partner, 29F, has been having at the very least an EEA, maybe more, with a co-worker of mine who sits on the same floor as me. I'm out of town and I don't know how to handle it. At work, I see co-workers all the time. I'm planning on going to my department head and/or HR and see what can be done. But more importantly, I don't know how to confront my partner. I'm planning to say nothing until I return. Some backstory. Since March 21st, things have begun to deteriorate. We both used the D word in fights we've had and chose to have a separation for most of December. She flew to her home state where she has been staying with friends and avoiding family. I played a role in her having to talk to / see her family, and it's biggest betrayal ever. She does not get along with her family and they are actively working through their issues, but it's not getting anywhere. I've been instructed that I am not to contact them at all. Easy enough, they all also live in her home state and we are not close. My partner posted something on Instagram and so did her friends and her sister. Her sister texted me and asked what was going on. I, still bitter from our last fight and upset we were separated in the first place, chose to answer with a very brief exchange which said, "Yes, she's here. Are you not with her?" "No, we're separated," that's all I'm going to say. Obviously my partner finds out and justifiably explodes in anger. However, rather than what I assume is a normal level of anger, she views it as the biggest betrayal I could possibly have done to her. This was before Christmas. I say let's talk after Christmas, but I didn't hear from her until almost 3 weeks later. I wanted to give her space, so I waited for her. I think waiting was my second mistake. Because when I do hear from her, it get, "Hi op, I'm ready to come home. Can you please stay with a friend while we figure this out?" I feel blindsided by this and we soon after FaceTime and discuss where I tell her I think it's extreme but she feels different. To keep it short, the summary of the conversation is that I'm also 100% for all the problems in our marriage too. I begged again, 4th time, to get marriage counseling. She says no because she has to work on her mental health first. She's been fighting depression since July. She still hasn't found a therapist. Partner and I used to work at the same company in very different roles. Over the summer she quit but maintained friendships with a lot of people. One in particular I was previously not worried about, in a committed relationship, and she said some negative things about him in the past. This was all the case until right after she bought her plane ticket. They had started to text all the time. She would say they, Cow and his GF, are just fighting all the time and I'm being there for him. The day before she flies out she spent 4 hours at his house. Alone. One thing we have always had was free and open iPhones for each other in case we get self-conscious about infidelity, and we freely share with each other, passwords and Face ID and everything. I looked at the conversations between them and I'm rather shocked and concerned. There are one-sided details of the fight, partner, and I had emotional support from the guy. I find this concerning but I say nothing because I'm convinced she doesn't see him that way. Spoiler, I was wrong. She flies back the same day I fly out for a trip, another 9 days apart. We have a shared photo gallery. A few days before our flight, suspicious photos between the two of them pop up. They continued for another 2 days. These photos are not specifically damning but highly suspicious. My friends tell me they don't prove anything concrete, but there's a possibility something is going on. I'm pretty convinced. I'm worried he's going to pick her up from the airport and then they go back to our place, etc. My anxiety is through the roof for 3 days in a row. Our house has a nanny cam for our dogs. We also actively share our location through Google Maps. She is fully aware of these facts. She watches a ton of murder documentaries and this is something we do to have each other's back. The day she flies back I had already landed at my destination and began obsessively checking her location to see when she walked in the house to see if co-worker picked her up from the airport via nanny cam. Thankfully she was alone. My anxiety stops for at least that night, but my suspicion continues. This morning we talked on the phone. We agreed that we can be back on speaking terms. But my texting her sister was a massive betrayal. I had left notes and cards around the house and did other things I knew she would like to show I still care. Now though she's having conflicting feelings since how could I love her and also betray her like that? We agreed to talk about it once I'm back, and I don't need to stay with a friend right away. I felt much better and I thought most of the day we might be able to make it work. This evening I get a movement alert from the nanny cam and I see she's all dressed up. She goes to some generic restaurant. She's only there for 45 minutes then heads back. Check the camera, did they get the check early and decide dessert is at home? She's alone but on the phone. I listen to everything until they hang up and obviously I only get what she says. What I gather is that first it was the coworker she went to dinner with, second he went to break it off with my partner to go back to her ex. She's very understanding with him and confirms I'll delete all the photos in our chat. She then asked if he can still give her weekly guitar lessons like they talked about doing to stay friends. Then she says I really like you and I like where this was headed, blah blah. Suspicion confirmed. She wanted it and he knew better. I don't know how far it went between them but that's enough for me to know that she's the one betraying the relationship. So what's next? This just happened and I can't sleep. All advice is welcome. Edit. I'm certain they did not had sex/PA during said 4 hours alone before she left for her home state. Everyone is telling me I'm naive, but guys, you're just gonna have to trust me. Since then I know she only saw him at the restaurant. There is a lot of room for cyber sex though. The line I overheard about the photos needing to be deleted is uncomfortable to think about. I want to stress that the important piece is that I shared with her sister that we were separated. This person is not to be trusted in general, let alone with that sort of information. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.